That bass line quietly transformed music and influenced bass players such as Jacko, Bootsy, Pino and many more. It's of course James Jamerson's bass line from What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, and Jamerson played it and plucked it with just one finger, and that was called the hook. But why was this bass line so groundbreaking? Well, up to 1971, when this song was released, bass players tended to play more of a supporting role and a rhythmic role, playing roots and fifths most of the time. But in this bass line, Jamerson weaves in and out with the vocal line, and his bass line can be sung as a kind of counter melody, almost as important as the melody of the song. When Marvin Gaye is singing, Jamerson backs off and plays more of a supporting role, and when there are gaps, he then gets busier and puts some more interesting counter melodies into the bass line. So if we think about the bass line in the verse, let's kind of look at what bass does and how he plays off Marvin Gaye's vocal line. And by the way, the sections that I show here in the video you can get on a free PDF. Just click the link below this video in the description. So we've got the first part, when Marvin Gaye's doing Mother Mother, and then we've got this next bit. Okay, and then these two bars, there aren't any vocals at all. Okay, then brother brother bit, and then the vocals again, and then we've got this bar. Okay, so it kind of keeps going like that, and you can hear this is a really interesting part. Okay, it doesn't stay the same, it's got some interesting rhythms in there. Okay, we've got a push there. Okay, a push just before the third beat, and next bar. Okay, we've got that nice rhythmic idea there. Okay. Okay, nice dotted rhythms there. Another push. Okay, that kind of really popular rhythm there that Jameson does in Motown. So listen to the record and clock this kind of interplay that happens between vocals and bass. Jamerson was originally a jazz player, so he approached his bass lines more as an improvisation. Nothing stays the same. Jamerson said that he'd just be given the chord charts and have to come up with something, and they'd have to do that on the spot in the studio and come up with something that suits the song. But he didn't keep it basic. He really kind of went for it and make sure that he played something that kind of worked with the whole song. Jamerson always slightly changed his bass lines when sections repeated again. Lots of bass players used to play exactly the same thing. They kind of still do in certain songs. But Jamerson would change the rhythm and the notes slightly just to keep the interest going. So we'll just look at a later verse now. The one we just looked at was verse 1, and we can see some of the changes. If you're enjoying this video, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the red subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And if you click the bell and select all, you'll get notified as soon as I release a new video. Straight away in the first bar, we've got some extra E's to kick it off like this. Okay. So in that first verse, it was just. Okay, so it's just busier. Those bars 3 and 4 of that section are busier here. Okay, so Jamerson's put some extra notes in there as a busier rhythm. If we move on to the next 2 bars, again, that's slightly busier. Okay, just more kind of eighth notes there, really. And then we've got some different notes in this last bar as well. Okay, so that's a really nice variation on the first verse. One of the aspects that I particularly like about Jamerson's bass line on this song is his rhythmic displacement and syncopation, where he kind of plays across the beat. He pulls the beat around and pulls the groove around, but it still sounds really solid. Let's check out the 8-bar section of the bass line that we have when Marvin Gaye sings the Picket Lines. We can look at some of the ideas that Jamerson uses that are quite unique. So he's got these kind of approach notes that he puts in. This is quite a kind of jazz type thing. Okay, so just stepping down to B. So he's just using the 2 frets above, chromatic approach notes. Okay, and we've got an enclosure there, so that means we're heading for the F sharp, so he plays the fret above, the G, and then the E below and the F sharp. So this is an idea borrowed from jazz. I've made a previous video on enclosures, that's video number 315. Okay, so this is quite unusual to have these enclosures in pop around this time. There's another enclosure in the 3rd bar of this section. Okay, so he's going to B and he's using the C above, A below and the B. Okay, when you're playing these enclosures you can use a chromatic note or a scale note. Okay, so you can have a note that's 2 frets apart above or below. So you're enclosing the note that you're heading to, okay, the target note. So this is that bar again. In this next bar we've got some really interesting rhythms here. Right, ba 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. It's very syncopated. We've also got some approach notes here. Okay, stepping up to the B and then stepping up to the F sharp in the next bar. Alright, so approach notes you can use to step up or step down. You can use chromatic notes again for these and scale notes like for enclosures. Okay, and the rest of that line. Alright, so really interesting there. Unique note choices. Very much kind of, you can hear these jazz influences in this bass line. To summarise, Jamerson's bass line from What's Going On really elevated bass out of the rhythm section to make it more of a prominent instrument with a more melodic role. Even though his bass lines had these levels of complexity in them, they still grooved and sounded very, very solid and laid back. And on that note, apparently he played some of these bass lines literally laying on his back, but that's another story. There's so much to learn from Jamerson's bass lines, and studying them will really make you into a better player. Remember that you can grab a copy of the PDF with the sections of the bass line that I showed you in this lesson. Just click the link below this video in the description. I'd love to hear what you thought of this video, so leave me a comment below. Let me know any of your other favourite Jamerson's bass lines that perhaps I'll take a look at in a future video. And if you felt you got value out of this lesson, you can always buy me a coffee. They're $5. The details are at the bottom of the screen here, or you can click the links below in the description. Don't forget to help me out by liking and sharing this video, and also subscribing to my channel. And if you want to get some more bass resources and courses and books, or join my membership, or look at some private lessons with me, then check out gbshed.com. That's my website. This is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. Hopefully see you very soon in the next video.